everybody, and welcome to the
PWF Breakout Tournament.
Final round.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Political Wrestling Federation.
Well, it's been a long road and an action-packed tournament, to say the least.
And don't forget about the controversy, Gorilla. We've seen plenty of outside interferences from superstars who weren't even slated to be here.
And it's all been about the most coveted prize in the PWF, the POTUS Championship. So without any further hesitation, let's find out who's going to be the #1 contender. And now the final match of the PWF Breakout Tournament between Martin Luther King Jr. and the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster.
Making his way to the ring area from a smoke-filled bureaucratic back room, Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster.
I'm very surprised to see him coming out here alone, Gorilla. I figured he'd have every liberal this side of the Potomac River accompanying him to the ring.
Well, before this match started, we just got an update on the Deep State Goon's health status, and he seems to be suffering the effects from the attack from Ike still.
And his opponent, the most prolific civil rights leader of all time, Martin Luther King Jr.
Listen to this PWF universe explode as Martin Luther King heads down to ring to do battle.
Both these men have fought 3 other matches tonight, so fatigue has got to be a factor in this matchup as well.
These men need to fight hard and leave everything in the ring. You know what they say about excuses, Gorilla. They're like assholes. Everybody's got them and they all stink.
The look of determination in Martin Luther King's eyes is unparalleled as this one's officially underway.
And both these men are taking their time, neither one of them rushing to the center. And now look at the DC Swamp Monster trying to get in the head of Martin Luther King, who does not wait anymore, and now hard forearm.
But the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster's back on his feet, only to be met by punches, hard punches that is, from Martin Luther King Jr. And now he scoops him up and throws him into the turnbuckle.
We saw the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster use that exact same move against Ike in the last round with devastating effects. As there you see him counter, though, Martin Luther King is stunned.
And the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster scoops up MLK and delivers a hard hip breaker. And now he's to his feet. Where's he going? It looks like he's going up to the top rope. This is definitely a high-risk maneuver.
But the risk was definitely not worth the reward, as Martin Luther King could smell the swamp a mile away. And now the DC Swamp Monster's in a precarious position. And look at the power of Martin Luther King.
And you gotta believe there's nothing more that Martin Luther King would like to do than to stop this entity of inequality dead in its tracks.
The elitist mentality of these Washington, D.C. Swamp Monsters is exactly the inequality you're speaking of. They think they know better than you and me how we, the people, should be living our very lives. The very existence of the deep state in the Washington, D.C. swamp is antithetical to the founding principles of America.
Speaking of founding principles, that double axe handle off the top rope sure found its mark on the cranium of the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster. But now the Swamp Monster counters Martin Luther King's punch now with the Irish whip. Look at this, right into the stairs.
It's almost unbelievable the punishment these two are willing to endure to secure their shot at the POTUS Championship.
Oh, and look at that hard shot with them steel steps right to the face of Martin Luther King. And now the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster's headed back into the ring. And look at this, what's he gonna do, assault the ref again like he did last round?
And that damn Swamp Monster should have been fined after that assault against the referee. But just like always, the Washington, D.C. Swamp don't play by the rules.
And that showboating's gonna cost the Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster as Martin Luther King launches himself off the top rope.
MLK a little slow up to his feet, but nonetheless with a hard kick right to the face of the Swamp Monster. And now he lifts him up to his feet, but the Swamp Monster counters with an arm drag takedown. And now the Washington Swamp Monster with the Irish whip over to the other side of the ring to the corner.
The Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster's taking his time, and now he measures Martin Luther King with a hard forearm right to the face, and Martin Luther King is down. But wait a minute, what's former President Barack Obama doing here?
I don't know, Gorilla, but my gut tells me it's got nothing to do with the hope and change this jackass preached nonstop about before he was elected.
Meanwhile, the D.C. Swamp Monster continues his assault against MLK, but look at this, Obama seems to be intervening on behalf of the civil rights leader.
Well, I stand corrected, Gorilla. Obama, see, oh, look at this. I knew it was too good to be true. Look at this dastardly deed.
Like your doctor, keep your doctor, my ass. Every single thing this man's ever done is a damn lie.
I stand by my previous comments, Gorilla, that Barack Hussein Obama is the worst president in United States history.
Damn it, don't you tell me that's how this tournament is gonna end. They're up and down and counting, and there's 3.
Here is your winner, and the new #1 contender Washington, D.C. Swamp Monster!
Look at this, it's President Trump, and he's seen enough injustice. As Obama celebrates, he doesn't even know Trump's behind him.
I don't like snakes either. We got a lot of snakes in Washington, D.C. We will make America great again.
Take that, Barry. Ooh, look at this. The deep state goon. So much for his health status being in question. Here he comes to stand right beside the Washington, D.C. swamp monster.
Now that's called collusion, folks. That's real collusion.
The hardworking American people couldn't agree more with the president.
And you have the deep state. We're getting rid of a lot of them. I'll tell you, we're finding them left and right. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear the words, "We are going to drain the swamp."
Watch out behind you. Oh, look at that. The president had no clue the deep state was honing in on him for an attack.
Big surprise, the non-stop attacks from the Washington, D.C. swamp as well as the deep state will not cease. I'm just surprised the fake news ain't out here joining in the fray.
And to add insult to injury, the Washington, D.C. swamp monster picks up the POTUS Championship. I got news for him. If he wants it, he's gonna have to come and take it. And not by any cowardly means of impeachment, but only by going head-to-head with Donald J. Trump in the squared circle.
Well, just like we promised you at the beginning of this tournament, it was filled with non-stop action and top-notch superstars.
Thank you for joining us, and make sure and tell your patriotic friends about the PWF. And check back soon for the match between Donald Trump and the Washington, D.C. swamp monster for the POTUS Championship.